Here's how media works. All right. You want answers to questions. Specifically, you are Colts fans, and you want Lou Anarumo, Jim Bob Cooter, and Brian Mason to answer for the loss to the Chiefs that occurred just 2 days ago. And so they're made available to the media. The media, trying to be polite because you don't want to anger anybody, you don't want to offend somebody and turn them surly against you, they ask in the most polite way possible for the answers that you covet. Now, we know on the front end that we're not going to get specificity with answers. They are not going to say schematically, we really screwed up, and that's how Rashee Rice wound up going for 140 plus on Sunday. They're not going to say things like that. But they tried to get to the essence, a little bit of the truth, a nugget of truth from Lou Anarumo, from Jim Bob Cooter, from Brian Mason. And that's what we got today. We got a nugget of truth from each of those guys. First, here's Lou Anarumo talking about his defense. And of course, he's asked, or at least Rashee Rice is mentioned as a problem. Also mentioned 33 first downs allowed by the defense. How did that happen? And how will it not happen this week against C.J. Stroud, who's going to be back, and the Houston Texans?
Thanks, Lou, for the time. Just looking at Travarius Ward returning to the lineup, how do you think he fared out there, especially the first time you all had a chance to pair him with Sauce?
Yeah, I thought he did. I thought he did well. I thought all those guys did well. Obviously, the game didn't turn out the way we wanted, but I was pleased with both corners.
And then to follow up, obviously the outcome wasn't what you wanted. What do you think the key is to getting over that last little hump in the game? Travarius talked about that afterwards. Like, that's the next step for this unit, to just finish and getting off the field.
Yeah, I think it was a lot. There was a lot of little things. I think we could have done better. I think through three quarters they were 3 of 8 on third down, and then the fourth quarter into overtime, I think they were 4 of 7. So you stop them on 2 more third downs, you're off the field. You got a chance to close it out. You probably get them to a fourth down situation, but. I was proud of the way our guys played. I was proud of the way they fought. There's certainly things we can do better and need to do better. But when you hold those guys to 1 touchdown, you give yourselves a chance to win.
Chap.
Look, we've asked you about this before, but with edge pass rushers or ends, so much focus is on the raw numbers, sacks and pressures. How do you look at Latu and what he's done? I guess just the overall of his game, the impact he's had.
I've kind of said it since we've got here back in the spring, is he's one of the better football players we have on our team, and I think that just shows with all of his production that he has, not just playing well in the run game, disrupting the quarterback at a high level, but the guy's got 3 interceptions, and he tipped the ball to himself against a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's just not, hey, it looked easy, but that was really hard what he did. And I just think the guy's a tremendous football player, a better human being. He's a great teammate. Charlie and Matt Raich do a great job with him, and just pleased with in the direction that Latu's heading.
One other thing on the other side with Kwity Paye, how has he done with your expectations and what he needs to do to the defense?
Yeah, again, very stout against the run. I think his rush is getting better. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're at 33 or 34 sacks, 6th or 7th in the league right now. I want to say we're close to matching the total from last year. So I think as a collective unit, we're getting after the quarterback pretty good. Can we all certainly take a step as we go here through the final push of the season? Yes, we can. Like where Kwitty's at, like where he's heading.
Thank you.
Steven.
Hey, Lou, you just talked about Ward. I'm wondering, in the context of both those corners playing together on either side, and obviously Kenny doing his job in there, just what, if anything, what did that enable you to do? What did that give you, some freedom or some ability to do some things? And I know obviously there's some lasting images with Rice, breaking out late and so forth,
Yep.
But overall, it seemed like you made it tough on them.
Yeah. I think, as you mentioned, Kenny and Sauce and Mooney, the combination of those 3, and JJ came in on a couple third downs, to cover Kelsey, and Nick had him a couple times. you give yourself a chance when you play them. You limit Kelsey's uh, explosive plays because they're so intertwined, Patrick and Kelsey, and you give yourself a chance if you do that. Well, how did it affect me? I think just a little less anxiety on any kind of pass play
Right.
with those two guys, and like I say, Kenny Man in the slot. I feel good about calling pretty much anything.
Yeah. Okay.
JJ.
Hey Lou, looking at Houston, their offense has been maybe a little more efficient over the last couple of weeks with Davis Mills in there. How do you expect them to maybe kind of build on that with Stroud coming back this week?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about. I thought that Davis did a heck of a job when he was in there. Utmost respect for Stroud. I think the guy's a super, super talented guy, can really throw it. He is a problem when he gets out of the pocket because he can still, keep you off balance and throw on the run as good as anybody. So, we got our hands full. I'm sure he'll just slide right back in to what he was doing and how he was playing. And, we have the utmost respect for their coaches and how they go about the game. So we've got our hands full on Sunday.
Kind of different topic, but I asked you about Pratt last week. He goes out, he's 20 tackles. Can you just maybe sense him like getting a little more comfortable here, even maybe coming out of the bye week?
I think so. I think, anytime you're around new teammates and, G is a prideful guy. I say that about a lot of our guys, but wants to do well, wants to help his teammates. And it's just natural. That's going to take some time. I know JT broke out on that run on the 3rd and 1, and you see G jump off the bench with a couple of our other guys, kind of just leading the way. So, yeah, I just think he's feeling more comfortable, being here for this amount of time. Excuse me.
Just a couple more. Kevin.
Lou, I don't think you have faced Nico Collins. I think he might have been hurt, a couple years ago when you guys faced him. He's had some big games against Indy the last couple times out. What is that challenge, and how would you kind of equate his skill set, maybe some of the other top wideouts?
Yeah, he's a really good player, for his size, the way he moves. He moves like a 5'10" guy, but he's, a lot taller than that. And so he's a premier receiver in our league. Certainly pay extra attention to him. But you got to be careful because they've got other weapons as well. And Schultz is a heck of a tight end, catches the ball. Kirk in the slot, they've got some young guys doing some good things too. So, we'll know where he is on every snap. But even when you double him, they still throw it to him. So, he's one of those guys where they'll force feed him some, and we just got to do a good job of knowing where he is on every snap and handling him.
We'll go with Nathan, and then Chap will be our last question.
Lou, I know you talked a little bit about the impact of having Sauce and Charvarius Ward in the passing game, but in the secondary and being able to lock guys down, how did you guys feel their impact on your guys' ability to get to Patrick Mahomes? I know it seemed like at least a couple of those sacks you guys had, or Patrick had a good amount of time in the pocket, and it was just something where it seemed like he didn't have anywhere to throw the ball, and eventually you guys were able to get to him. How did you feel like that helped that pass rush a little bit that you guys had on Sunday?
Yeah, I always think rush and coverage working together is going to be a huge part of disrupting the pass game. The one sack where Double A got it, we were in a 3-man spy situation, and coverage is a big part of that, in that particular call. And so to your point, yeah, I thought all three of those, underneath, guys, 4, including, again, whether it was JJ or Nick on Kelsey, did a great job, which allowed us to get to the quarterback. So, yeah, you're right on it. And I think it's always going to be that way. It's always going to be rush and coverage working together.
I know this is something that you might not really address head on until the end of the season. I know your name has been thrown around in some early lists on potential head coach pursuits here toward the end of the season. I know you've interviewed for some jobs in the past. You're just here, year one with the Colts. Is that something you would still like to pursue at some point in your career? And how do you imagine balancing or weighing those options when the time comes for that?
Yeah, certainly I'd lie to you if I said down the road that wasn't something that, would be a career goal. world, but my full attention is on the Houston Texans. It better be, because they're a really, really good football team. We got a division opponent coming in here at home. I said to the staff this morning, said it felt like we haven't played at home in a month, and that's because we haven't. So while I appreciate all that stuff, my main and sole focus is on the Texans this week.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Chap, last question.
Yeah, going back to the pass rush, we asked Shane, I think Monday, about Houston's. Houston, he said, friggin' good pass rush. They get the Allen for whatever it was, 8 and all over him. And I was looking, they've got 33 sacks, and you've got 33 sacks. So you look past the numbers on what an effective pass rush is, and I guess yours needs to be better, but it's not, that bad. How do you look at it collectively?
Yeah. Again, it's how you want to slice up the pizza. What kind of slice you want? You want cheese? You want pepperoni? You want sausage? You're still getting pizza. So we're getting sacks. We're in the top, like I said, 6 or 7 in the league. It's a collective effort in everything we do on defense. So why just limit it to the guys up front? We're spreading the wealth around, and that's at the end of the day, it's what the result is, and I think that's you can tell my favorite food is pizza because I went right there. But I think that's what's important, is that the outcome is what we want. And it just lets everybody have a hand in everything that we're doing. And they feel that, hey, I can potentially get a sack on this play.
Thanks, Lou. Go eat.
That'll do it, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
There's Lou Anarumo, and I like Lou Anarumo, and I think he gives pretty good answers. But there they are. And so it's for you to judge, are those answers sufficient to make you feel good about where the Colts are for this Sunday against the Houston Texans? After the loss against the Steelers, a near loss against the Falcons, and a near win but a loss in Kansas City, I think it's put up or shut up time. You got to get this thing done. And you got to beat the Texans. How you do it, whether it's knocking C.J. Stroud on his ass, making sure that Nico Collins doesn't get it done, making sure the running game doesn't advance the ball, doesn't get first downs, whatever you got to do to get off the field. That's what we need to see happen, Lou. Need to see it on Sunday. Let's go.